Hello and welcome to official Xbox 360 Magazine's RXM Reports, and this week we have yet more exclusive details on the most hotly anticipated RPG of 2011, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. I'm here with Bruce Nesmith, who is the lead designer on Skyrim. So what's your history with the Elder Scrolls series?
I first started with Daggerfall. Bethesda Softworks hired me when Daggerfall was about halfway through, and I ended up doing an awful lot of work on Daggerfall, a lot of systems work, a lot of dungeon work, a lot of quest work. Saw that project through to the end. I did only a little bit on Morrowind, but came back again for Oblivion and was heavily involved in all of Oblivion. I shepherded the Thieves Guild quest line, did a lot of the systems work again. That's kind of my specialty, is the system side stuff. A lot of the creature balance and loot balance and stuff like that. For Fallout, I did a lot of the same things. Once again, I was in charge of Rivet City and a lot of the loot balance and creature balance, and now I'm lead designer on Skyrim, which is a wonderful opportunity.
Now, obviously there are a lot of fantasy RPGs out there. What do you think it is about the Elder Scrolls series that really captures people's imaginations?
I think we do open world particularly well. We've been doing it for a long time, so we really have polish that skill to a gleam, but we allow more opportunity for the player to go and do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants, more than any other game I can think of out there. It's a choice we make, and it has consequences, but I think that's the biggest appeal of the Elder Scrolls, really, is you can just do whatever you want and we do not get in your way.
And tell me about the variety within the region, because a lot of people might assume that because it's all north, it's going to be kind of just all snowy, but you guys have quite a lot of variety within the different regions.
Oh yeah, that was one of the early things that the art director, Matt Carafano, very much wanted to get in there, was the idea that because you're in a northern clime does not mean you're constantly snowbound. You know, you can go to a place like Iceland and it is not constantly under snow, you know, as well as any of the Scandinavian countries. So we have a variety of different forested regions. We have a variety of tundra and swamp areas which do not have any snow or ice on them. But if you go up into the mountains even a little bit, you start getting the snow and the ice. And there's a whole section of the map that is in the snowy area, so it feels like you've crossed the Arctic Circle, as it were, to get up there. So a lot of it's about having variety, constantly making sure that the player feels like he's entering some new area, so he has something cool to see that he hasn't seen before. So we make sure to do a lot of that mixture, but you're rarely very far from a snowy place.
One of the really interesting things about Oblivion was the DLC, Shivering Isles, which kind of felt like it was almost like Oblivion with the brakes off. It was a bit more wacky and a bit
I worked
more
quite a bit on that, so yeah.
Is there anything you took from that to go into Skyrim, or is it all going to be quite straight down the line?
Oh, no. Every time we do another project, we add to our toolkit, both in terms of our skills as people and in terms of the kinds of things we can do. If you look at the Radiant Story stuff, you can see the beginnings of it, the gleam of it in Daggerfall. You know, Daggerfall had a random quest system. It was a very old game. The technology was limited in terms of what you could do, so it didn't feel as good. It felt very much like random stories, but it was amazing for its time. That has continued to evolve as we move forward into here. So from Shivering Isles, we had, for example, cities. The city there, New Sheoth, felt much more organic than the cities in Oblivion. Well, we're never going back to that. We're going to continue to evolve. So the cities that you see now will look very much like their natural, real places. They won't be flat plains with buildings stuck on them like they were in Daggerfall. Well, that's a very old example. And the same thing with the packages, not the packages, with the AI of the people in the towns. You'd see somebody juggling. You never saw anybody juggling in Oblivion. We added that in Shivering Isles. Well, now you're going to see all kinds of stuff in Skyrim because we continue to push that forward. It's like, wow, that's cool. Let's do more of that. So we're going to have more of other actors interacting with the world and doing things other than standing around waiting for you to talk to them.
Obviously, the Radiant Story thing offers a lot more flexibility in terms of the quest, but what kind of challenge was it to make sure that they don't always feel generic and like they're being conjured up by the AI system?
I think it's part of human nature. It's definitely part of design nature that when someone gives you a new tool, your first reaction is, ooh, shiny, let me go do stuff with that. And you suddenly want to do everything with it. And that's usually a big mistake. And we made that mistake, quite frankly. And we tried to do everything with it. And we turned around and we looked at what we had made and we said, that part's cool, and that part isn't, and that part isn't. And we had to rip those out. So what we try to do now is understand that Radiant Story is a tool for us to use, and you use it in the right place. You don't use the scissors where you need a hammer, or vice versa. So with the Radiant Story, you don't say, I have to use Radiant Story. You say, I have to make this quest. I have to make a story that a player is going to play. Oh yeah, I can do this thing over here with the Radiant Story system, and that will make that story cooler. But you don't put the cart before the horse.
For the exclusive details on Skyrim's groundbreaking Radiant Story feature, pick up the latest copy of OXM on shop shelves now.